Just for a minute, let's forget the realities of Hollywood and let's think about this with some common sense. A studio gives you money, you make a film, they market it, and if it is good, you have a surefire hit on your hands. Now, if you were to ask me why a film that I've been recommending for 15 years and only ever had one person say to me it was, is not more mainstream, and having studios throw money at it for sequels, I would tell you that we must be living in Everything is Awesome City on Planet Lego, because there is just so many movies that are awesome that we just have not gotten around to watching this one yet. Then Jenn smacks me back into reality, and I realize, no, I don't live in Everything is Awesome City, and Hollywood is just stupid. Very, very stupid. Welcome back to another episode of the Popcorn Confessional during our 31 days of Halloween. And this is Dave from nERDbox, and I'm accompanied by my wife Jenn, also from nERDbox. And on this episode, we are talking about a hidden gem behind a mask, the rise of Leslie Vernon. So fire up that Jiffy Pop and meet us in the booth.
Taylor Gentry is filming a documentary on Leslie Vernon, a real-life slasher planning to make a grisly return to the little sleepy town of Glen Echo after townsfolk threw him over the falls as a teenager for being a bastard son. Leslie reveals the tricks of the trade of how a slasher plans his attack and brings Taylor and her film crew along for the ride, through every kill to his final showdown with the final girl.
So, as I mentioned, been recommending this movie for 15 years. Yes, 15 years I've known about this film. Why? Because if you watch the other reviews, I worked at Blockbuster, and then I worked at Best Buy. So my hand was always in the retail or retail space when it came to movies and entertainment. And as soon as I seen this movie, because we would always get to watch them before they released, I love this movie. And it's come up several times on this channel with Women in Horror over last year, and it's come up even this year on an episode of Five Things. And it's not because, we're biased to this film. It's just that good. You have some comedy elements to it. You have an amazing slasher in this film. And there's just so much there.
I didn't like it the first time I saw it. I don't know. I was like, this is corny. And it is. I mean, parts of it are meant to be corny. I mean, first of all, they, in this movie, Freddy Krueger and Jason and Michael Myers, they're real people. Mm-hmm. They're actual real serial killers that get referenced to. So I think some of that kind of threw me off. But once I watched it a second time, I did really enjoy it. And the acting is amazing. And, there's a lot of Easter eggs in the film, which is really cool. They play homage to other horror movies. And obviously mentioning Freddy, Jason, and Michael right there. And also there's, some great actors that have just been around for a really long time that are in there and you don't expect to see.
I felt that this movie is almost like a passing of a torch film, because you had Scott Wilson, you had Zelda Rubinstein, you have Robert Englund in it, and then you have younger actors in this. Yeah. So it almost felt like a passing of a torch. Like, Robert Englund's like, here you go. Here's the slasher torch that we're giving you. Go run with it. And they certainly could have. And this movie, if it gets a sequel at any point, it'll work at any point because of the premise of this movie. Yeah. As you mentioned, slashers are real. Freddy, Michael, Jason, Chucky are known slashers, as well as other ones that are potentially hinted at. Maybe it's Toolbox Murders. Maybe it's Black Christmas. All of these slashers are essentially doing a job, and that is to bring balance between good and evil. You can't have good without evil. Now, Taylor Gentry, who is played by Angela Goethals, is doing a documentary for school, and she just gets pulled in to, Leslie Vernon's charm.
Yeah. But she's naive. She's naive to the world. She's, I think, very small town, doesn't...
She's focused on a career and
so
books.
She's focused on a career and her and books, and, doesn't have, like, this, big friend group, and doesn't go out and do things, and so I think that she's just very naive because of all of that.
Yeah, and, Nathan Basil plays Leslie Vernon, and sociopath, psychopath, to a T, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Definitely plays it to a T, because the way he switches up his emotions with the character throughout the film, one moment he's fun and loving, and then he gets really serious,
Yeah, and he could be really mean, too. There were a couple of times where, like, he grabbed her, and, because he was, like, pissed off. So he can be really mean. He can also be, like, the jokester. He's, like, playing around with you. A couple of times he even seemed like he was flirting a little. But, so he can definitely switch it on and off.
Yes, he's a chess master in this, and you get to see that in this movie. And the filmmaking was great because it is partially docu-style, where it's shaky cam a little bit. But when the movie gets serious, everything switches camera style, and it's perfect the way they switch things.
Yeah.
I have to say, if you like Scream, you're definitely going to love this movie.
Yeah.
It is, like I said in some of the other reviews when we're talking about slashers, there are 4 great slashers that have come out this century. One's right behind us. The other one is over my shoulder, which is Leslie Vernon's Mask, which we showed in the film. There's the Tragedy Girls, and then there's Art to Clown. So this is definitely one to check out. If you've missed slasher films and you want something that's smart and funny, this is the slasher film that you can watch. And if you want more Leslie Vernon, I would have to say, go find Scott Glosserman on Twitter and say, we need Leslie Vernon to come back. Yeah. It is the perfect time for Leslie Vernon to return. We have Halloween rebooted. We have Candyman rebooted. We have Scream rebooted. It's time to see Leslie come back and kick some ass.
Yeah. Definitely. Definitely want to see what's going on with those characters. So
I have some ideas, but I'll save that for Popcorn Theory.
You're not the writer. So at the beginning, Taylor is standing in front of the Red Rabbit pub. This is a reference to the Red Rabbit matchbook found by Dr. Loomis in Halloween 1978.
Yeah, there's about 20 Easter eggs.
Yeah, I couldn't list everything. There was just so many.
Yeah,
it's insane.
I would say have them go and search for it and drop it in the comments.
Yeah, I mean, seriously, go and find some Easter eggs. Like, watch the movie, find these Easter eggs, and then just, like, tell us what you found, because there are a lot.
I found a new one that is not documented anywhere in social media, anywhere in any horror articles, and I was pretty proud of myself because I didn't catch it this any other time that I watched it.
Some other stuff that you may not like really be able to catch because it's not really like out there or anything. Is one of the characters' name is Kelly Curtis. Now, obviously, you can figure out her last name is kind of playing homage to Jamie Lee Curtis, but Jamie Lee Curtis also has a sister named Kelly. So that was, instead of naming her Jamie Curtis, they named her Kelly Curtis. So they didn't totally, rip off the name, obviously. This was Zelda Rubinstein's last movie. Unfortunately, she was just a presence. At 4'3", this woman was a presence. Yeah. You just knew when she was there. You could never forget this woman. And even though she was even tinier than me. So she was only 4'3", but man, did she really have a larger than life presence. And then the last one is when Taylor is interviewing Leslie in the shed before the night the murders take place. Her mittens have the same moose pattern as Kevin McAllister's hat in Home Alone.
I wonder why.
Because she plays Kevin McAllister's older sister in the movie Home Alone.
Wow. That Easter egg doesn't come up in many places either.
No, not at all. So I thought that was... Because obviously most of the Easter eggs are for other horror movies. So I thought it was pretty cool that they slipped that one in there.
Yeah, and as I will say and repeat from the episode of 5 Final Girls that you need to watch, Taylor Gentry is one of those. She came up on 2 lists. She is the perfect bridge from the Final Girls that we do in the 80s and 90s to the ones that we have now. Now, while Sydney came first, Taylor is the true bridge to the smarter, more deadly Final Girls that we see today.
Mm-hmm. Well, because she fits into the rules better, too. You go by the rules of Scream, or the rules of horror. She fits into the rules better. She doesn't drink or do drugs or have sex. So she just fits in better.
Yep. And
don't forget to like, subscribe, turn on the notifications. Not like he did it. and share.
Definitely share the movie. And until the next review, see ya.